So, Thunder Wizards, hello. Today I want to talk to you about the addiction to the victim mentality. Are you addicted to your failure? And, um, we need to understand that the victim mentality is an addiction, just like alcoholism or drug addiction or porn or video games. Pick your addiction. Food. And it might even be worse than that because it's such a pervasive life path philosophy. And I was stimulated to share this video today because of a comment on one of my videos. Now, I am going to share with you the comment. I'm not going to reveal the person's name, and I'm not going to tell you what video it's on. This person is free to keep their comment up or take it off, and that way, they have control over that. It is not my intention to single anybody out or to criticize them personally. Because first off, let me just say that I understand the victim mentality. I have had one, and I'm still not free of the influence of that. As you know, what I teach is that what you choose to indulge in terms of your thinking and your actions is most important. And so I try to live by that. But it doesn't mean I'm not influenced by those thinkings. But what's interesting is, what I have done has changed my external reality. And it's really hard to be a victim when your external life is, giving you such positive things. So I'm just going to go in and read the comment. It was on one of my videos again. I'm not going to tell you which one. But what this person says, and we're going to analyze what this person says, proves that this individual is sadly, and it's not a judgment, I believe this person is addicted in perhaps potentially intractable victim mentality. And this person is willing to throw other victims out in a from my perspective, a very disrespectful and destructive way in order to justify their own victim mentality. And this is an extreme example, but I hear this a lot. For example, not talking about her, but other people have said, how can I have chosen my reality when poor people in third world countries or when children are abused or blanked? I'm not even going to use the word. And, in other words, here you have somebody who is a victim. Now, it is very possible that somebody who talks like that has themselves been victimized and traumatized. I'm not trying to minimize that. But instead of being honest about their own experience, what they're wanting to do in order to justify their philosophy on life, which is a victim philosophy, that they're out to get me, that this is an evil universe, all those kinds of things. They will use other people's tragedies and throw them in front to say, see, look at what happened to that little kid who didn't deserve that being blanked by, people. And that is what that means is that is an incredibly disrespectful thing to do for whomever you're talking about. Because if you cared about them, you would not bring their tragedy up as a way to confirm or to defend your desire to promote your victim philosophy. Again, I feel for people who are trapped in victim mentalities. That's why I do this. But I'm just going to go and give you this because I'm going to analyze this. Again, this person is free to keep their comment up there or free to take it off. It's completely up to them. But again, if you leave a comment here on the internet for the entire world to see, I assume that you are willing to have a discussion about it. Okay? So this person says, obviously the first thing comes out as being cynical and sarcastic. And you're going to see this is just so, I would never say this about anybody that I knew. You know, because I've known people who've gone things. I would never out them in this way. This is her first line in her comment to me. This is her talking now. I'm absolutely convinced my daughter agreed to be drugged and gang blanked when she was 15. Laugh out loud. And I know my 73-year-old mother chose to die a long illness of Alzheimer's disease. And then she says, laugh out loud. Says the rich white man living in patriarchy. Laugh out loud. I'm appalled at that. First, I can only assume from what she says that she has gone through some tragedy. Clearly, she has seen tragedy in her family members. But if my daughter had been gang blanked, I sure as hell would not throw that out publicly in front of the whole world. Now, I don't know who this person is. I mean, her first name is on there, but I don't know anything else about her. She's anonymous, so I don't know who the person is. But still, this shows that her addiction to her victim mentality is so great, and her desire to justify her victim mentality is so great that she's willing to take her own daughter, who was horrifically traumatized, and to throw her in front of her just so she can make a point to me on a YouTube video. And this isn't like, you know, I'm not taking this out of, like, let's say a long conversation, which might still, it's no less reprehensible, but it would still be, you know, a little bit this was just her first comment to me on a video that had nothing to do with any of that. It was like many of my videos where I say, if you want to be successful, you have to take full responsibility for your life, and whatever has happened to you is a result of the choice of your soul to experience and learn from that. Now, let me be clear. I can't explain why some of these extremely traumatic events happen to people. I've had my own trauma. Nothing compared to what she talks about her own daughter went through. I've been through my own trauma, which, you know, is bad enough, but that, I can't say that I know anything about that. But as I said, I sure as hell would not take an innocent person, you know, my 15-year-old innocent daughter's trauma, and throw it in front of the whole world just to prove a point to some guy on YouTube. What I'm saying is that if you think about it, the person who does that is somebody who is absolutely committed to justifying being a victim. And it saddens me. I'm not angry with her. I'm not interested in arguing with her. In fact, I even said at one point, listen, I'm not going to argue with you. I don't want to argue with you about this. But it saddens me that somebody, you know, it's saddening enough that, you know, the victim mentality is a real thing. And that's sad enough. But that somebody would re-traumatize their own, I mean, I get really sad when I think about it, re-traumatize their own 15-year-old daughter to make a point. It's very sad. You know, before I go on with my analysis of her comment, here's what I know. As I said, I can't explain why things of that magnitude happen. I can't justify it. I can't explain it. But here's what I know. If I am not 100% responsible for everything that has happened in my life, then I'm a helpless victim. And I can't live like that. here's what else I know. When I chose to not be a helpless victim, and when I chose to take full responsibility for everything in my life, even if I don't understand it, even if something happened to me that I don't know why the universe would allow that, or why that person could do that to another person. Even under those circumstances, if I go, I don't understand why, but I take full responsibility. I chose for this to happen. Either as a soul, I chose for it to happen, or there was something that in my interaction that at the very least opened a window to make it happen. I could, go on and make guesses about, what might have happened with this woman's daughter, but I'm sure as hell not going to go there because I wasn't there. And there's no excuse for that, no matter what she may or may not have done to, get herself into danger. There's no excuse for that. So I won't try and justify that. I could go into it. I could go into, that toddlers absorb the mentality of their parents. And if your mother has a victim mentality, then a daughter at 3 or 4 years of age is going to absorb that and then end up projecting that into her life. So I could say that the mother may, I don't know, the mother may have had some unconscious participation in creating the environment that allowed that to happen. I don't know, but that's definitely something that rolls around in my head. She goes on to say, laugh out loud, says the rich white man living in patriarchy. So there's all kinds of judgments in there. In other words, I don't understand, number one, because I am, according to her, I'm rich. I'm not. I'm actually, at the moment, I'm in debt. I'm okay because it's, floating debt, liquid debt that I'm working through. So I'm not in any jeopardy of being homeless, but I'm certainly not rich at this moment. I am a white man. That is nothing that I did nothing for that. Whatever privilege has come of that, there's also been the normal things that happen to everybody has happened to me, regardless of my ethnicity. And then living in patriarchy, meaning because I'm a man, I benefit from being in this patriarchal society. Now, I love the idea of analyzing, patriarchy and the divine feminine, and I definitely think there needs to be a balance. I want to make more videos about that. But again, the thought process is, she knows nothing about me personally, puts me into this category that she has in her head, which she uses to continuously justify her own feelings of victim mentality. And it's a projection. In any case, I responded. I won't get into what my response was, but I said, I have one question for you. Do you want to change your reality, or do you want to continue to, what exactly did I say? Do you want to change your reality, or do you want to continue to be victimized by your life and only see others whom you believe are victimized by their surroundings? And then I said, please answer honestly, otherwise we can't have a dialogue. She didn't respond to that. She went back to justify and to defend and then go on and, how she's worked in other countries with people of other races and that men and then, the prison system, and so, which may be true. But taking zero responsibility for her life. I clicked on her, just because I'm interested, I clicked on her name to go see what her channel was like. And on her channel, she's got favorited videos of how to be deceived and being deceived. Basically, that the world and the universe is an unfair place. So I feel pretty confident in saying this is somebody who has been traumatized in their life, who has not chosen to take responsibility for their life, and they continue to indulge and commit to believing that they are a victim and spreading that victim mentality to everybody around them. And to me, it comes off as an addiction. You have to understand that, people are addicted to, think about it. You're addicted to drugs. You're addicted to alcohol. You're addicted to sex. You're addicted to video games. You're addicted to whatever it is. There is this cycle of, reward that you get from it. Victim mentality is no different. There is a cycle of reward. It's a response in the brain. This is why, by the way, people are so addicted to YouTube and YouTube videos about whatever it is. Pick it. The Q Nation or whatever the hell that is that thinks that Donald Trump is the next Messiah. I forget what it's called. The Archons are trying to steal your soul. The aliens and demons and, Pizzagate. There is an addiction in that. And that's why, it's so popular. That's why those videos are so popular. It's important that we understand that. And victims will do anything. Addicts, I should say. Addicts, when they're in the grip of their addiction, will do anything to justify their addiction, including re-traumatizing people they supposedly care about. So, this is an extreme example. I'm not really interested. I don't know this person. I have no interest in continuing that or trying to expose who she is. I'm glad that it's anonymous here. And again, she is welcome if she wants to delete her comment. That way nobody will have seen it and know who she is. I welcome that. But I want you to meditate on that. If you are somebody who struggles with being a victim, feeling like a victim, it doesn't mean that you haven't gone through trauma. I don't mean, and never have meant, to minimize anybody's trauma. Again, if those of you who, if you've known some of the things I've been through, you would know that that's not what I'm here to say. What I'm here to say, again, is what I've said before, which is the only thing, we have two choices. We can either choose to blame things outside of us, even seemingly for things there's no way we could be at fault for, in which case we will be a victim, a helpless victim of circumstance. And that means if you are a helpless victim of circumstance, it means that at any given point in time, it can happen to you again. There's no safety in this universe for you. Which then makes it logical to believe that there are beings of light who are trying to traumatize you, continuously traumatize you, and that your life is a sick joke that they benefit from. It makes perfect sense if you follow that and if you're in that. So that's one choice, is to be a helpless victim where you can be continuously traumatized by an unfair, cold universe. Or you can choose to take control. Now, by taking control, I mean taking responsibility. Now, just because I take full responsibility for my life doesn't mean that life doesn't happen to me. People still die. This woman goes on to talk about her mother who died of a long disease, as if I haven't seen people die in my life. And those of you who follow know that I have. But I also know that I have some responsibility over how I live and how I die. Physical disease, I do have some control over how healthy I can be. And so the only other option is to look at where I do have control, what I can do. And what I have found is that if I take full responsibility, my life gets better. The past is still the past, and the traumas of the past are still there. But so what? My life, my future can get better. That's been my experience. And even better than that, the longer I keep teaching, the longer I keep counseling and working with apprentices and clients, I continue to get more and more feedback from them that following my instructions has completely changed their life. Now, the difference is that they are willing to face the pain of becoming conscious of all of the unconscious trauma within them. This woman, I don't know, but I would go to say that she is not processing her trauma. She is using it as a drug and using it to stuff down all of her feelings. Anger is a defense mechanism. Victim mentality, fear, living in the reptilian brainstem, full of fear, is a way of avoiding. I've shared with you, I was an exorcist when I was a young man. And I found out very quickly that people who were possessed by demons were people who had unresolved trauma, and the only way I could relieve them of the demon possession was to find out who traumatized you. You must forgive them. And only when they forgave their abuser would the demon leave. And that taught me everything. And that influenced me to be able to understand what I know now. I didn't completely understand it then, but now I get it. So, if you want what I have, if you believe that I have what I say I do, and if you want what my students are claiming that they have, and I'm just as surprised as anybody. I started teaching this for my own healing and for my own empowerment, not knowing. I'll be honest with you, if you go back to those first videos, I honestly didn't know if it was going to take with other people. I was doing it for my own empowerment. And I taught it to people, and I said, if you follow my directions, your life will completely change. You will still have to go through some challenging periods, especially of acknowledging and really consciously processing what happened to you. But if you follow my directions to the T, your life will change and it will get better. Now I know, because everybody that has followed my directions has come back and had that response. Doesn't mean that they haven't had real life issues happen. But some people, more than one, I'm not pointing out one person, but there's more than a few who break down in tears telling me, thank you, you've saved my life. I'm not saying that to tell you that I'm something special. I'm not. That's my point. I am no different than you. If I can do it, so can you. I'm sharing that with you to help to let you know that it's not about me. It's about these techniques. If you do them, they work. That's all I know. So, if you want to know all the things that I offer, you can go to courses.thunderwizard.com. If you like this channel, subscribe. Hit the bell button so you can be notified whenever I upload a video. Now, there's so many things that I teach. First off, let me just say, take advantage of the free YouTube channel. I have videos on there, and I have so many meditations. Every time somebody wants to get on my case because I charge money for services, that's somebody who hasn't put the time and effort to bother to watch all of my 400 plus free videos and all of the teachings, hours and hours, probably thousands of hours of teaching, and tens of hours of free videos on meditation and ritual and specific techniques and qigong. Go consume all of that. If you don't want to pay for anything, there's a free channel. Go make use of that, please. That's why it's there. If you want what I have a 4-step method which I believe is an extremely effective lifestyle in order to accomplish this. If we call it a victim mentality, a warrior mentality, a success mentality, I don't care which one you use. It is a lifestyle, it is a discipline. And there are 4 tools, they're techniques, and if you understand them, you can literally change your external environment. That's up here at neo.thunderwizard.com. Those 4 tools are: number 1, you need to know what your destination is. Your destination is your soul desire. You know, whatever tragedies have befallen you, those are your challenges, karmic or otherwise. You have to go through them because there's something in there that your soul wants to learn, not needs to learn. It's not being punished. It chose to learn. You are in PhD training for the soul. And as long as you realize that, oh crap, I paid money to be in college, I'm going to study and learn, then you can do that. But it's sort of like waking up in a PhD program, not realizing that you have paid your tuition to be there to learn, and or you know paid money to go to, let's say you want to go and become an Olympic athlete, and you're in the middle of training, and it's sort of like waking up in the middle of training and not realizing, and some guys, you know, do this and climb that mountain and lift that weight and do this, and you're like, why is this guy torturing me? Unless you realize, oh, I'm training to be an Olympic athlete. I want to get the gold medal. So if you have challenge in your life and tragedy and trauma, there's only one way out of that, which is to say, I chose to be here, and this is PhD training or Olympic training, and if I can accept that this is something that I want to learn, and I put myself into it to learn and to overcome, then it turns into a whole different life. Anyway, I got off track. First thing you need to know is what your soul desire is, what your soul wants to achieve. Now, besides the challenges, there is also the payoff, and the payoff is pure, unadulterated joy. And each and every one of you listening to me, whether you realize it or not, there is something in your soul that gives you tremendous joy. You either are going after it and experiencing it or choosing not to. So you have to know what that is. That's number one. I call that finding your perfect career. The way I identify a career or define a career is when you go after your greatest joy, the universe pays you money to be your authentic self. We call that a career, but it's actually the soul desire. So you need to know what that is. That's number one, your goal, your destination, and your map. Number two, once you know what your destination is, what your goal is, you want to become a gold medalist in the biathlon or whatever, that's your goal. You need to then have a vehicle which will take you there. This is the nourishment, the fuel, and that is Qigong. And that is the second one. The celestial Qigong is the power, the vehicle that takes you to that goal. Third thing you need is you need to know the rules of the road. If you have your vehicle and you have your map and your destination, but you don't know how to drive on a road, you don't know that you're supposed to drive here in the U.S. on the right side of the street and know that red means stop and green means go. If you don't know what the rules of the road are, you're going to get into an accident and you won't get to your destination. That is called the 5 rules to master the matrix. And in the 5 rules to master the matrix, if you understand how that the universe is a conscious life force energy matrix that responds to your actions. Beliefs are actions. It responds to your actions, not your feelings. And if you understand how to take actions which will stimulate this life force energy matrix to respond positively to you, to continue to give you resources and empowerment to get you to your destination, then you understand the universe will do what you command. But you can't do that when you're a victim. You've got to be willing to drop the victim mentality. Let me again be clear. Just because you are changing from a victim to a warrior or a victim to a success-minded person doesn't mean you won't have pain and difficulty and challenges. You will, but they're just feelings most of the time. They're just feelings. And your feelings won't kill you. In fact, you should feel all of them. Don't deny them, feel them. There will be times when you will be achieving your success in ways beyond your imagination, and you will be equally as in pain and in fear, but they're just feelings. They won't affect you physically or emotionally or psychologically. You just have to learn how to take action that goes against your fear addiction, your victim addiction. And that is in the 5 rules to master the matrix. And then the fourth one is what we're doing here right now. You can't do it alone. You can't just take a pill. You know, in the matrix it was easy. You just took a pill and it was over. I wish it were that simple. If it were, I would give it to you. It's not. The fourth is we have to continue to work with each other. We have to come together as a community. And that is on the thunderwizard.com channel. I'm creating a community where people can come together and we can work together, and you can work with me, and we do that live Q&As as well as other things. So those are the 4 tools. Besides that, there's a ton of other stuff I teach. If you find interest in anything, go to courses.thunderwizard.com. If you want to be able to overcome your addiction to your victim mentality, then go to neo.thunderwizard.com. Follow all of those links. Okay? If you don't have the money, don't complain to me about it. Go on to my free channel, because I've got nothing. This channel right here, this YouTube channel, is free. There's over 400 something videos, thousands of hours of free teaching and free meditation and free rituals and free techniques. Use them and listen to me. And if you follow my directions, I can guarantee you your life will change. It might be challenging. It might take a little time, but I guarantee you your life will change. All right. Talk to you soon.